Okay guys, it's been a while since I've done a video. I was sitting on the porch this morning drinking a glass of juice and these two deer walked out. Let's see, I hope they don't try to go across that road. There you see them again. There's the gobblers. This is what Debbie loved about our place. We can get out and see and look, and they're going right to that darn road. Maybe they won't cross that fence. We've actually seen one get hit right there. But that's what they act like they're trying to do. Just go through that fence. Ain't they pretty? I hear a car coming. Maybe they won't do it. Good, there they go. Get away from it some. But again, there's the turkeys and the deer we saw this morning. Cheyenne, she's checking them out. There, if y'all can see it, it's a new flower bed I'm doing. It's going to be mainly for shade flowers and partial sun. Let's see. They're drifting back down. I hope they'll go back in the woods back here on this side. Oh, but as you guys know, June 14th, Debbie passed away and broke my heart. But she wanted me to be happy. I assured her that I would in the last days. And she fought that stuff so hard, and I think she started having a few dings, and I think that contributed. And there's a couple other issues, but there's no sense going into anything. But I'm going to work out there again today. I've got to go to the grocery store this morning and piddle around. There's the greenhouse, and to be honest with you guys, I haven't done anything out there for a month and a half. We've just started the last couple of days, and I'll work out there today and this weekend some and start getting some more plants coming. But I just threw it away. But Debbie was far more important than anything else I had going on, and fortunately I was able to take care of her, and it was just it happened so fast. We were out here one Tuesday night, and I was sitting in the swing laughing. This was she passed away again on the 14th, not the Tuesday prior to that, but the Tuesday prior to that we were sitting out in the swing laughing and joking and cutting up. And we went to bed that night at 8:30, and Debbie never came back down the stairs. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But I got to say this about it. She did this her way. She tried the chemo, and nobody's knocking anybody for doing it, because it's like Debbie always told me. She said, you've got to know in your heart that you're doing what you ought to be doing, and believe in what you're doing, and faith in God. And she told me on numerous occasions that God had told her to go this route with the alternatives. And our quality of life, we had 14 and a half months after the diagnosis, and our quality of life was absolutely tremendous. She always was coherent. She always could do whatever she wanted to do, whether it be picking peas or walking or cooking my supper or, you know, just anything. And so that Tuesday night we went to bed, she didn't get back up, and this is not patting anybody on the back or anything by that means. It's just simply me talking to you guys this morning, and I hope I can get through this, because it's this talk this morning, because it still breaks my heart. But anyway, we went to bed that Tuesday night, and 9 or 10 days later, Debbie was gone, and it was just boom, 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 boom. every day you could see changes, and they were big changes. And I got angry with God. And I asked him, how can you take this person that anytime anybody asked, how did you choose the alternatives? What made you go that route? How did you have the courage to step outside the spectrum of the medical world? And Debbie would always point straight up and go, God showed me. God's told me. And I swear to you, God talked to her. And it was just amazing to me how we could sit and talk, and just the stuff that would just roll out of her heart. And I mean, you could tell she had this deep understanding. And she convinced me that God and her talked. And but again, this is not patting about somebody on the back, but real quick, I surely hope you guys never have to do what I did. And as far as losing your spouse, and I know it happens to every one of us, and it's hard and it's tough, but we were fortunate enough. Number one, Debbie was at home, and that's right where she wanted to be, and that's right where I wanted her to be. And anyway, we were told to call hospice, and we did, and they came out, and I went, look, guys, I'm just going to tell you how it is. Prior to going up there and meeting with Debbie, I am hospice. I'm going to take care of my wife. And again, this is not patting anybody on the back. This was just total love and devotion that we had for one another. So anyway, I understood after I had my little talk with God about how could you do this. God actually blessed us, and he gave her the opportunity to be at home. He gave me the opportunity and to be able to stop what I was doing and devote myself entirely to her. And so by doing that, we got a lot of good quality time. We had for the last 14 and a half months, but the last, I don't know, like I said, it was 9 or 10 days after we laid down that night that she never went back down the stairs. But for the next 4 or 5 days, she was still coherent, and we could talk. And by God letting her be at home and me have the opportunity to stop what I was doing, and God blessed our kids because they were all so much help to us, and Mark taking over the business while Debbie was sick and getting here when he could. We made it work. And anyway, hospice went up, and they looked at Debbie, and I wanted them to come every day or two, and just basically, keep her vitals, keep a check on her vitals for me. So it got close, and one of our good friends, Sonny, was here with me daily. He'd come by and check on me, and Debbie just loved him to death. And Sonny got us involved in his church there in Davenport, and we were sitting there talking to her, and by then she was incoherent, and I know she could hear us, but she couldn't communicate back with us. And he saw it was getting close, and he said, Doug, you need to call hospice in here and get some 24/7. So I did, and they came, and they were here about 30 minutes, and I said, guys, you got to go. Nothing against y'all, and they were great. The people that came were great. I'm talking about that were doing anything. But the ones that were coming to check the vitals were just absolutely great. Anyway, before they left, I asked them, I said, what do I look for? And so they told me, and they nailed it. I guess they've been around it so much. I knew exactly what I was looking for. And anyway, the next morning, or that day maybe, we had all the grandkids come. And we've always heard that people want closure, and she didn't want the grandchildren to see her like she was. But when we knew obviously what was taking place, we had them come, and then the next day Debbie passed away. But I sat there with her. My daughter Michelle stayed with me the night before Debbie passed, and I got up at 3 and checked on her, and Michelle popped up. We all stayed in the same room where we had 2 sets of ears listening, and Debbie said, or Michelle said, Dad, I checked on her at 1:30, I said, okay, great. She said her breathing and all was fine. So anyway, the next morning, Michelle had to go to work at 5 or 5:30. She left. I let her out the gate, went back and spent some great time with Debbie. Opened the blinds early that morning, was telling her what a beautiful place she'd had, and I was hoping she could see it, and looking out the windows, and this was her home, and what a pretty spot she picked out on the place to build the house, and you know, and I knew it was close, but I told her, I said, Mark, our son, who I call Red, was going to be there at 11. I said, honey, if you want to hold on, Mark will be here at 11. And so Mark came, and I told her, I said, honey, I got to lay down for a minute. So I laid down on the bed next to hers and fell out, and then about 12:15, Mark woke me up and he said, you better come look. He said, I think it's over with. So she passed while I was asleep, and I got up and ran over to her, and she was gone. Just a second, guys. But anyway, after she passed, I got to bathe her and dress her before she left. Obviously, I'd called the funeral home, and they were coming to pick her up. And then I laid down beside her and took a nap for about an hour. And but it was the most peaceful, gratifying thing I have ever done in my entire life. And I know she'd have done it for me. But anyway, that's what happened. And we buried her the following Tuesday. This was on Thursday. And anyway, it was just the greatest experience I've ever known. And she told me the Tuesday night that we went up that she didn't come back down the stairs, that she asked if I'd be happy, you know, with the rest of my life if something happened to her. And basically I said, you know, sure I will, I guess, Debbie, but I'm going to have this terrible hole in my heart. And she said, no, you won't. She said, I'll always be there to fill it. So anyway, but again, this was not patting anybody on the back. This was just how fortunate we were to be able to do the things at the end that we got to do. And we were joined at the hip. So obviously, you know, it's kind of rough, but we've had great support. And anyway, I just miss her. And I look back at some of these videos, and I wish I'd have done more. But that's the way it is, and everybody goes through this. And you know, I'm not the only one. I'm not saying that I am. But one other little quick story was the day after the funeral, I had a buddy of mine call me, and he had lost his wife to cancer several years back. Name's Billy. Billy, obviously, is the guy that was finding these greenhouses for us. And he said, you all right? I said, yeah. I said, but Billy, all these darn flowers, man. I said, they're killing me. I come down the stairs and I see all these flowers. And he said, Doug, do you remember? He said, I called you one day and you were up there with Debbie. And he said, you were laying there beside her telling me how fortunate you were. And there's a couple of hens, I believe, out there. But he said, you also told me, and I did, guys. I'd think about this and it'd break my heart, thinking about people that were laying just like Debbie, worldwide, but had no family. Nobody was there. And it would just weigh heavily on my heart. He said, Debbie's favorite saying, guys, was keep a smile on your face and one in your heart. And I'm doing that. And she's helping me to do that. But Billy said, Doug, take those flowers to a hospice center or take them to a nursing home and distribute those flowers to those people you're talking about, the ones that have no family. And so I said, you know what, Billy? You just lifted a load off my heart, and that will let her, one more time, put a smile on somebody's face and let them have one in their heart as well. So I had Mark take him to the hospice center there in Auburndale, and there was a ton of flowers. But anyway, they told Mark that how thrilled they were to get these, and they would actually make smaller vases out of all these arrangements. And so anyway, that's what we did, and it just made me feel so good, and I know that's what Debbie would have wanted for us to have done. But again, real quick, my humor, you know, if you guys have ever listened to me, sometimes I might jerk your chain every once in a while. But I came downstairs a couple nights after Debbie had passed and went to the refrigerator, and I opened it up, and I grabbed the gallon of milk, and I stood there and I contemplated for a second. Then I put it to my lips, and I just took me 4 or 5 good slugs right out of the jug. Then I looked up and said, "How about them apples, Debbie?" Because she was always on to me about drinking out of the darn milk jug. And she'd go, "Doug, get a glass." And I'd go, "Darn, Debbie, you don't even drink milk. I'm the only one in the house that drinks it. What difference does it make?" She said, "It ain't right." So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny, and I still pick at her. And but guys, I'm going to tell you, thank you for all your support, your prayers through this thing. It meant so much to both of us. And starting today, I'm going to start doing a few more videos and start jerking y'all's chain again some. Obviously, for the last month and a half, I can get out there and video the greenhouse again and the big garden out front because it's had no care and attention. I can show you all the things you don't do about gardening. So I'm the best at what not to do. And if you guys ever want to grow a garden, the ones that haven't, and you want some advice, first off is don't call Doug. Step 2 is please don't call Doug. And step 3 for garden information is see step 1 and 2 above, and that'll pretty much explain don't call Doug about gardening information. But we loved it and still do. I'm going to keep it going. Debbie wanted to put in these other 2 greenhouses. We'll get that done. And you know, we're gonna grow a little produce out here. But it's something I can do inside the fence, and people can come and, you know, get some gardening supplies and everything, and you know, the plants or the produce, and it's going to really help me. So again, I've gotten very long-winded. I wanted to throw a little tribute out there to Debbie because she was the love of my life. God, I miss her. But this will all work out. And again, thank you guys again, and we'll be talking to you soon. And like Debbie says, keep a smile on your face and one in your heart, and God bless everybody. Y'all take care.